Yeah, just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and you're listening to Drama Talk Radio. As you know, Drama Talk Radio is the show where the word drama, DRAMA, stands for developing real and moving art. We're so happy that you tuned in for this show because, again, we're going to talk to people that have been creating real and moving art. This show is the show where we give them a voice to let you get to know them. We ask some questions about projects they have going on, and then how you can reach out to them, find out more about them, and maybe even give them a gig or employment. So today, we have in the studio with us, we have a great show. This is a young man that I've known now for about 10 years or so, and I'm still calling him a young man because he is a young man.
All right,
he
I'll take that compliment.
he is an actor because I met him on during a stage play. So he's an actor. He is also a musician. He's a rapper. And please welcome to the show, Aaron Brown, also
Hey,
known as Bless One. Aaron, welcome.
hey, thanks. Hey, how you doing, Calvin?
I am doing great today. Thank you for being our guest for this segment of Drama Talk Radio. We want to get right to it. I
Okay.
know that you have been working on music for a long time. Tell us, what kind of music do you do? How did you get started?
I make a variety of music, but it's mainly hip hop, and right now, hip hop instrumentals. I really mainly do production. I got into music in my teens. Hip hop music. I began rapping. And at the time when I was rapping, I just couldn't find a producer in the Chicago area that created music that complemented the way that I rap. So that's how I started getting into production by making beats for myself. And, in the beginning, just like about most producers, I didn't start off good. I didn't have really good beats, but I was intrigued by the process, and I like learning how to make beats. And then once in a while, I would make a good one, and then that would bring forth the excitement, and then it just rolled on from then. And so I've continued from there.
Okay. Now, I want to let our listeners know that Aaron is being very modest because I'm going to read you a little bit from his bio. Bless One is a composer and producer from Chicago with over 90 placements on cable network shows such as HBO, VH1, TLC, and MTV. He believes his musical versatility is his greatest asset as he can effortlessly compose music in multiple genres, which evoke emotional reactions from his listeners. So let me stop right here and say, what music genres do you or have you produced in?
Hip hop, R&B, and pop, and some electronic music. Not much, but a little bit of that as well, and some orchestral pieces as well.
Okay, okay. And you said you've been doing this for about how long again?
And it's been about at least about 12 years now.
Wow, that's a long time to be in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So, so what got you into music? I know uh, that one of our earliest meetings
Hmm.
was because of a stage play
Right.
that you were in. But what got you started in music?
Well, just I mean, I guess like anybody else, growing up black and in the inner city, hip hop just resonated with me more so than any other music. But I took on to music through rapping though. I was listening to a lot of lyrics back in the '90s from like Nas and certain great rappers.
Hmm.
And when I tried my pen at it and I started reciting rhymes, a lot of people liked the words that I was saying, and they said that I had a knack for it. So that that hobby just became a passion as I continued to write, trying to get better and better. And like I said, and that eventually snowballed into music production. But it started off with just rapping. I had no interest in music production. I never took any music lessons for any type of instruments or anything like that. So I was just strictly into writing and rapping. That's
Wow.
how I first started off.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty interesting without any musical training, let's say. So, Aaron, what is your process for coming up with music?
Well, for me, I start off just with the sounds. It's almost like the same when I began in the beginning. When I when I first began, it was all sample music. So I would check out old records or cassette or different sounds and just looking for a good sound that'll move me. And once I found that, then I would build off of that. So right now it starts the same way. Whether I open up my computer and I plug in my keyboard and I'm just going through different sounds and I'm playing on my keyboard, or even nowadays I use my iPad sometimes for a sketch pad. And if I hear a certain sound that just intrigues me, then I start to build off of that. And if I can get my head to nod, and then that'll motivate me to complete the track, you know. And
Okay.
that's all I do. I just try to zone in on the music at hand at first, not thinking about where it's going to go afterwards or whatever. Just making something that is quality that I like and that I can nod my head to.
Okay. Now, once you create the music, what do you do with it? I know you don't just let it sit. I mean, what do you do with it after you've gone from the invisible to the visible, if you will, or the audible? What do you do with it then?
Okay, yeah. So once I'm done with the track, that's when I start to think about what do I want to do with it. Whether I'm gonna create a song on it myself, or if I'm gonna give it to an artist that I know to create a song, or if I'm thinking that it sounds good for a commercial or television or film or something like that, then I would reach out to those resources, you know. So I try to think about that afterwards, because even during my journey of making music, I kind of got sidetracked with that. Once I started getting into music licensing, I started to say, okay, well, they want these type of songs, so let me sit down and try to make that particular type of song. But the results were always less than what I could have done when I just concentrate on the music first at hand, you know?
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sometimes our creative process is stifled when we
Mhm.
try to do what somebody else wants.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely been my case, you know, in my experience.
Okay, so we've already talked about you have 90 placements on different cable networks.
Hmm.
What type of are there any shows that we would recognize?
Yeah, it's a lot of shows. Mostly they've been like reality shows, like Mob Wives or certain shows that because I just read off the list. A lot of the shows I've never seen myself. Like I've
Okay.
seen some that said "Say Yes to the Dress" or "Bar Rescue,"
Mm-hmm.
Vice News, E News, stuff
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of some of those.
Hmm.
So they use the music in like I guess intros or during the
Mostly,
show. Go ahead.
mostly they've used it as background music. Like
Okay.
majority of a lot of those particular type of cable shows, they'll have a lot of different music that's running in the background. So the way that I've got those placements is just by early on I found out about music licensing libraries, and basically they serve as kind of like the middleman. The television networks, if they need music for a show, it goes somewhere that has a huge library of it from composers all over the country or all over the world sometimes, and then they'll choose whichever ones that may fit.
Okay. Okay. I have another question for you. I'm going to take it down a different path right now.
Okay.
I, being a child of the 70s, listened
Uh-huh.
to a lot of the disco music of that era.
Yeah.
A lot of music from the funk bands that were coming up then,
Oh yeah.
funkadelic barcades, things like that. And
Classics.
yeah, and that was all music. It wasn't any electronics.
Oh yeah, yeah. Live instrumentation, basically what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you see music today compared to what it was or where it came from? And where do you think it's going from here?
Mm, in my opinion, the live instrumentation still can't be matched. It's still a certain feeling that still is better. You know, I mean, they have replications of all types of instruments that you could play on your computer, but it's
Right.
still something about somebody with a bass guitar that's been playing for 10 plus years, and he has feeling and emotion when he's playing every single one of those notes and bending notes or whatever. It's just, it's different. And that's actually something that I've been starting to incorporate now because I've met up with a lot of musicians in the last year, and I want to incorporate live instrumentation with the tracks that I'm creating. But so I see it a lot though, even in hip hop. Some of the biggest artists, from Kendrick Lamar, he came up with an album where he had all live musicians playing his stuff, and also with a combination of like drum programming, you know, with the 808s and the drum machines. But he also had live drummers and sax players and bass guitar players and stuff like that, because it still it just, to me, in my opinion, it's still the best thing is to have a live musicians playing your music.
Okay. Now, I have talked to a friend of mine who is a music teacher. He's
Hmm.
he's a pianist,
Okay.
and his thing is that the generation that's making music today have lost the music the musicmanship, excuse me, of
Mhm.
knowing how to play instruments. And as you said, you know, there's a different emotion that comes
Yeah.
from live music as opposed to using computers to create music. Now, do
Hmm.
you agree with him or disagree that the art of playing music is being lost?
No, I don't think that at all. I think the passion is at an all-time high. You see more people that want to produce music. Even if you go back 10 years ago, from what
Hmm.
I see, more people are and want to make great music.
Okay.
Now, as far as the musicmanship or just playing live instruments, it, to me, it depends on the genre. You know, if because rock, you know, it's nothing replacing the guitar for people to play that. And if you're gonna go into electronic music, of course, you know, like dance music, popular dance music, you know, that's just like 808 drums and synthesizers or whatever. But even with hip hop, that's why sampling never will go away, because they sample some of those same bands that you were referring to, like Parliament Funkadelics and the Barcades or Isaac Hayes or whatever, because they want that live instrumentation. The
Got it.
passion is still there, but even if they don't have the means to, or they just didn't go that route, the passion for the music is there. And most times, most producers, what I've seen, as they get years into the game, they
Hmm.
always want to incorporate some type of live instrumentation, where they get with a studio, a session musician or studio musician, and they start to collaborate together, and that's where it comes in.
Okay, very good. And I know that you mentioned the different genres like rock, for example. They always have the guitars, and jazz is
Yeah,
still
definitely still a band. Hmm.
still live and it's still band. So, do you think we'll get to the point where some of those genres will start moving more into the electronic or digital creation of music?
I think we'll forever see a hybrid of that, and I think that kind of like started in the actually in the late '70s. Like even when you mentioned Parliament,
Hmm.
they had synthesizers in their band. You know what I mean? I mean, along with people that had, you know, they had Bootsy Collins with a bass guitar, and they got a guy next to him playing a Moog synthesizer.
That's
So
right. That's right.
right, exactly. So I see the hybrid will forever be there, especially because it's so much easier tracking and recording